Hello there, my name's Steve and welcome to Art for Everyone, where I am going to go through making these various, if you've got the winter trio, the Christmas trio, we're going to be making little penguin, like this, little blue penguin, and we're going to be making a snowman, that will be in another video, and we've also got a Rudolph character. So we're gonna, if you've got this lovely pack, if not, you could, I suppose you can find your own plasticine and follow along that way, but you will have you'll have this pack from Art for Everyone, and inside you will see the that's where I should maybe have two cameras. So you've got a line of, for the penguin, the middle line is the snowman, and then you've got the Rudolph character on the end there, on the right. So we're going to begin with our little penguin, our blue penguin, and let's just move that down slightly. So I'm doing this all, I've got my Christmas jumper on, you can see there. And we'll begin. So yeah, the first thing we've got, you'll see we've got 5 squares of this, the blue for the penguin, yeah? So we're going to use 4 of these squares. There's 4 tubes in each square. So 16, if you're any good at the maths there. We're going to use all of those for the body. So the first thing you want to do is give them a squish and a squash. Okay, so a little tip, if it's feeling a bit hard, maybe put it on a radiator for a little while, and that will soften it up. It's all about just softening it up, and then you'll be able to work with it. But you do need to go through this bit of just moving it around, just getting it warmed up a bit, yeah? So this is actually the plasticine that they use in animation, because it stays movable, malleable, for a long time. It can dry out a bit, but I've got ones that I've had for over a year and they're still perfectly fine. So you can see, you know, if you can get a hand doing that if it's a bit too hard, but it shouldn't be too, this is all quite soft. Different colors can sometimes be quite hard, but I think all of the colors we've got in this pack are all reasonably soft once they get warmed up a bit. So we're going to, with this piece here, we're going to just kind of make it into like a little pear shape maybe. See it sort of developing here like this. Basically a penguin shape. So I hope you're warm and cozy. The heating has gone on. We've got a beautiful Christmas tree behind me here, and yeah, starting to feel Christmassy, and I'm hoping you'll feel, you can kind of smooth it out like this just to get well, a nice smooth finish really, and you'll see that when, what is that rattling there? Let me just move that. It's a little lantern. Right. Now I would play music, some Christmassy music, but I wasn't sure. I am quite new to this, guys, doing YouTube videos, so be kind if you're making any comments. But yeah, I wasn't sure of putting on any music, if then when I went to upload it, they'd say I'd infringe some copyright or something. So I'm doing this all straight to, if any of my boys come in and ruin the video, well, it won't be ruined, will it? But yeah, we're just doing it one take, no editing, real time. So hopefully you'll have something like this. Maybe it's a little bit like a skittle, isn't it? Little bit, quite a squat skittle there, like this. So once we've got that, you'll see you've got 2 tubes of white there as well, and I'm just going to use one of those actually, so I'll break off one. Now another tip is, if you've got some wet wipes, or just have a damp cloth handy, because you will find that the colours can transfer onto your fingers, and if we want to keep nice like, you know, bright colours, we don't want the white and stuff getting smudged, so keep your fingers clean as you're doing this. Yeah, so we've got this 1 tube of white now, and we're gonna do the same, give that a squash and a squish just to kind of soften that up, quite like a bit of chewing gum, that. So you can see that's nice, and you shouldn't be able to tell that it was a tube. It's just one nice smooth bit now. Okay, so now with this one we're going to flatten it out to the same kind of shape as the body here, so just kind of pressing it, yeah, and it will kind of start getting longer and thinner. Obviously you can see it's really quite thin there, and here we go, this is looking good. So I suppose you could use both, that's why I've put in, it's better to have more in your packs than not enough, so I put in 2 in case, but I think 1 should actually be fine. So we've got this piece here, and we're just going to decide where the front of our penguin is, and we'll just sort of lay that on, lay that on, and then just press on basically, and that will stick to that like so. And then I'm just again just press so it's properly on, and then just around the edge as well. See, I'm just getting that nicely on. Lovely. I think the good thing, or the best thing to do is, if you're watching this, maybe, you know, put on some Christmas songs on something else, so you've got a bit of, get into the Christmas mood, isn't it? Getting creative at Christmas. So there we go, we've got that. Yeah, now the next bit along the row is we've got this orange there. Now with the orange, I think again I've given there's 4 tubes there in the square. I'm going to break it in half, so I've got 2, and I think 1 tube for each foot. So we're doing the feet now. You can see that that was 1 tube for each foot, and it's quite a good, you know, it's got quite good sized feet there, so we'll see how that is. Yeah, so again we've got to squish them first, so let's get squishing. A little bit harder, I think, this orange, but it's still fine. That's 1 nicely squished up there. We'll get another one. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit harder, this. Definitely the plasticine is a lot harder when it's cold, so yeah, definitely just put it on a radiator or something before you begin, and that will make it a lot easier. If not, get a grown-up to help with the squishing part. Okay, so now with this, for a little sort of foot shape, you kind of...
Sorry, I don't know that one.
That's the Alexa in the room. Thanks, Alexa. You don't need to be listening to this. You couldn't make it up, could you? Right. I must turn that off for the next video. Right then, so we're going to make a kind of like a little flipper. And it's kind of like a foot shape, really. I do see it's got like a big toe and then comes down. Yeah. So like that. And then you want to try and get the other one the same, your other tube. And we're just making again. See how they're lining up? Yep, that's looking good, isn't it? So we've got two little flippers. Now again as well, don't worry about, you know, there's no right or wrong. You'll find a little bag in your box there as well. And in there, there's various wires. Now these kind of, these are for each, you know, there's wires for each of the different models in there. So that bag's quite important actually. Don't lose that. You've got a little bell for the snowman's hat and stuff. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of detail. See on that, I'm just going to put one little toe there. There's one thicker wire, that's what I was meaning to say. There's a thicker wire in that bag, which you can use to model with. You might have some modeling tools, and you know, use those if you've got them. But actually, do you know what? Just this one simple wire can basically do all that you need, which is great. So let's just do along there. So I've just put a little bit of detail in there, and then basically I'm just gonna put that onto the bottom of his body there. Press the other one on, and again they'll sit there. And I'm just gonna tap. Let's just have a look down there. Oops. There we go. We're just gonna. There we go. Just tap that a little bit. See, it's standing up fine, like so. Okay. Now, his little wings, we can pinch those out. How we do that, just at the side there. Maybe we should have done that before we put the white on, but it's fine. So we just, it's kind of made that quite, we're just going to have to do a bit of smoothing out there again, which is fine. So see, there's one little, actually gives a nice shape to the top of the body though, the way pinched out. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of pinching out. I'm doing this backwards up. That's not, now look, this is good actually that this has happened, because it just shows that it's not a problem if something goes wrong like that. You can see where I'm pinching, trying to show you on the camera. I couldn't see myself, so doesn't matter though. I think we can sort that out. So I'm just pushing that back. Good thing with plasticine, you know, you can't really go wrong. It's all about having fun, you know. So there's a little bit of white in there. See, there's a bit of white that's come in, but you know what? Take a bit from the back. This wasn't meant to happen. But it's fine. It's good that it's kind of, you know, it's good that it can go wrong a bit, because then I can show you how. So I picked a little bit from there to cover up that. And I think, you know, I think we might have got away with that. Just pushing this back a bit. It's come together. There is a little bit of white in there still, which we can sort that out. Don't worry, I've got a plan. So there he is. He's got his little wings up like that, and he's looking good. And then from the back where I took a little bit out, again you can just smooth. That's the beauty of it. You know, you can just, there we go, as if it never happened. But yeah, don't panic if something like that happens. There's ways of getting around it. Yeah. So I'm going to do him sort of, I think I'll do him one and kind of waving a little bit like that. Hello. So the next bit is to do the head, and we've got the 4 bits for that, 4 tubes. Now you can you see that little bit of white there, yeah? I'm going to use a little bit from here actually, so a bit from that tube. You won't need to do this because you won't make that same mistake. But I'm just going to cover that up, like patch it up with a bit of blue on top, and then you won't even know that happened. Hope Alexa's not still listening to me. Can't believe that. Right. Tiny bit more. I'm being more, you know, it doesn't matter if there's a little bit, but being a bit perfectionist. See, it's all gone now. So, for the rest of the blue, so for the 4 tubes, we're going to squish that again. Gotta do the squishing. And this, of course, will be his head. So, ding, 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 ding. Squish, squish, squish. You can roll it in your hands like that. So you've got like a little nice smooth round head. Now I'm not going to put that on yet. What I'm going to do is, you've still got 2 tubes of that orange left. So just wipe my fingers again from the blue, and we'll take, now I think you've got a whole tube. We'll probably need, I don't know, a third, maybe a bit more than a third, so about half. See how it is. So this is going to be for his beak, and you know, if it's looking too big for the head, just take a bit off and you know, make it a bit smaller. So we're just squishing it again, and then we're just gonna make, I'm just sort of pinching a little bit there and pinching a bit like that, so it's this sort of shape, and then bend it over, just pressing a little bit more like so. So you've got a little like this, and then decide where the front of the face is, and we'll just push that in like that, push it on, see, like this. That's looking good. And you can use this thicker wire again, your little modelling wire, and you could actually push that right into the mouth, so it makes a kind of hole, see, like that. And then I'm just gonna just give a slight upward, so he's meant to be sort of smiling a bit. Really makes it look like there's a deep mouth in there then, like this, see. Now he of course needs his eyes, so there's different ways of doing the eyes. You can either, you can use your wire and wiggle it round and make a little hollow there, or you can just get a little bit. So in your bag as well, you'll see you've got a bit of white there. We'll grab that. There's plenty of white for the snowman as well, so we can always, you know, improvise, but there will be white in your little bag anyway. So a couple of the other wires are falling out, that's fine. So I'm just going to pinch off. You don't need, see there's not a lot there, but you don't need a lot either. So I'm just going to pinch off. See, there's still quite a lot there, but I've just pinched off a little bit like that. I'm just going to pinch off an even smaller bit, give a little roll, and then I'm going to press it so it flattens out like that, and then I'm going to put that on like that. Nice big eye there. I'll get another little bit. So I'm sort of doing different, because this one I did more sort of eyeballs. I could have made little and dropped them in, but this one I'm going for more of that sort of flat eye. So again, you've got to kind of judge it so that they're about the same size, obviously. Let's have a look, see what these look like. Yeah, that's good. So we've got the two eyes. And then in your little bag as well, you will find a tube of black. So we'll take that out. This little tube of black there. You only need a tiny smidgen from the end there. Just literally. And then I'm just gonna take off an even tinier bit. Give that a little roll and press like that. And we'll see what that looks like. Oh yes, there's one. And then we get another little bit. Pinch, roll, press. So there you go again. Is that about the same size? Yep. Oh, didn't quite push it on where I wanted. There we go. It's looking a bit sort of worried, I think. Like that. Yeah. Now you could, got a little bit of blue from that bit when I picked off. Tiny little bit. I'm just going to use a tiny little bit, so you could always pinch off his body and smooth it back. What I'm going to do is just do, it's quite interesting how much expression you can get by giving them little eyebrows. So I'm just going to give him a little eyebrow there in blue. Just gives a little bit more expression. See there? I'm just giving him. So he's looking good. See his little head here, his body. We're getting there. And now I've given you a feather in there as well, because obviously this one's got his feather in his head. You don't have to use the feather, or you could even put it in the back if you wanted, so it was more like this, but then it's not really a penguin. It's kind of changed a little bit because you don't get many penguins with a big feather in the back. But you know what, I'm not gonna, obviously, like with something like this, if you want to put the feather in, use your wire again, put that into the head, like make a small hole, and then put your feather in, and then you could maybe trim it with your scissors or whatever. But use one of the other wires you've got in your bag. Then you've got these slightly thinner than the modelling wire. Stick that into the body, into the top there, like so, and pop. Make sure it's in enough that the wire's not going to come out the top of the head, because that's not a good look. And then we just put that on like that. Oh, that's very cute, yeah. And you'll have your little penguin there. Now, in your little box there's a little postcard with all my details. If you want to tag me, I've got my Instagram address on there, or message me with some photos of what you make. I'd love to see it. So anyway, there's Penguin. Do share what you make. I hope that was easy to follow, and yeah, all the best. Have a look at the other videos. Do subscribe to the channel, because I'm hopefully going to be making lots more of these. Some I will go with the kits. Other times I'll just make and share what I'm making. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye for now.